Listen to me very carefully, because I'm about to tell you something that will make you want to tear your house apart searching for old coins. There's a penny from 1942, a South African penny that most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the ground, and collectors have paid more money for certain examples than you'd pay for a brand new Mercedes-Benz. I'm talking about verified, documented sales, where grown adults have fought tooth and nail, bidding against each other until the price reached levels that would make your grandmother faint. Right now, at this very moment, someone has one of these coins sitting in an old tin, a forgotten drawer, or a dusty box in their attic, completely unaware they're ignoring what could be their retirement fund. What you're about to learn in the next few minutes could literally change your financial future forever. The year 1942 sits right in the middle of World War II, a time when the entire world was engulfed in conflict and uncertainty. South Africa, as part of the British Commonwealth, was deeply involved in the war effort, and this affected everything, including coin production. The South African Mint was operating under wartime conditions, dealing with metal shortages, changing priorities, and the constant pressure to keep currency flowing through an economy strained by global conflict. It was during this chaotic period that they produced pennies that would eventually become some of the most sought-after coins in all of numismatics. The 1942 South African penny features a design that tells the story of a nation caught between tradition and modernity. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of King George VI, who was the reigning British monarch at the time. The image shows him in profile, facing left, with the inscription Georgius VI Rex surrounding his likeness. The craftsmanship is remarkable considering the wartime circumstances, with fine details in the portrait that showcase the mint's commitment to quality even during difficult times. On the reverse, you'll see two sparrows perched on a branch, a charming and distinctly South African image, along with the denomination 1D and the date 1942. Now here's where this story transforms from interesting history lesson into something that will make your heart race. The 1942 penny was struck in different varieties, and certain specific combinations of characteristics have created coins so rare that museums and elite collectors will pay absolutely insane prices to acquire them. We're talking about differences in metal composition, variations in die characteristics, and minting anomalies that occurred under the unique pressures of wartime production. These variations might seem subtle or even invisible to the untrained eye, but to experts and serious collectors, they represent the difference between a $5 coin and something worth more than a luxury automobile. During 1942, the South African Mint faced significant challenges with metal supplies. Bronze, which was the standard material for penny production, became increasingly difficult to obtain as copper and tin were desperately needed for military applications. This led to experimental strikes using different metal compositions, and some pennies were produced on planchets intended for other purposes or using whatever metal alloys were available at the time. These wrong planchette errors and composition variations are extraordinarily rare, and when they surface on the market, collectors lose their minds trying to acquire them. One particular variety of the 1942 penny struck on a planchette with an unusual metal composition that resulted from wartime shortages appeared at a specialized auction in London several years ago. The auction house had authenticated it extensively, confirming it was a genuine mint product and not a contemporary counterfeit or post-mint alteration. The pre-auction estimate suggested it might sell for somewhere between £15,000 and £25,000. What actually happened was absolutely insane. Bidding opened strong and never slowed down. Collectors from 3 continents competed via phone, internet, and in-person bidding. When the hammer finally fell, the final price exceeded £78,000, which converted to well over $100,000 for a penny. A single penny from 1942. But that's not even the most shocking part. There are rumors in the numismatic community, whispered among the most serious collectors and dealers, about an even rarer variant of the 1942 penny. This mythical piece supposedly exhibits characteristics that suggest it was a trial strike or pattern coin, possibly created as the mint experimented with different metals and striking pressures. Only a handful of people claim to have seen it, and no example has appeared at public auction in decades. If one were to surface tomorrow with proper authentication, experts believe it could bring a price exceeding $500,000, possibly even reaching the $1 million threshold, depending on condition and the intensity of bidding. Authentication and grading are absolutely critical when dealing with coins of this significance and value. Professional numismatists use an array of sophisticated techniques to verify authenticity and determine exact grade. They examine the coin under high-powered magnification, looking at die characteristics, wear patterns, and surface features. They use non-destructive spectroscopy to analyze metal composition, confirming the coin matches known genuine examples. They compare weight and dimensions to documented specifications. They look for signs of cleaning, alteration, or artificial toning that might indicate problems. Only after passing all these tests will a coin receive certification from services like NGC, PCGS, or SANGS. The grading process determines everything in terms of value. A 1,942 penny in heavily worn condition might be worth only a few dollars to a collector assembling a date set. The exact same coin in uncirculated condition with original mint luster intact could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. And if that coin happens to be one of the rare varieties with unusual characteristics, the value multiplies exponentially. The difference between a grade of MS-63 and MS-66 might represent a price difference of $10,000 or more. These seemingly tiny distinctions matter enormously in the marketplace. What makes certain 1,942 pennies so valuable isn't just rarity, though that's certainly a major factor. It's the combination of rarity, historical significance, and the passionate collector base that pursues South African coins. World War II-era coins have always held special fascination for collectors because they represent a specific moment in history when normal production practices were disrupted by global conflict. Coins from this period often tell stories of adaptation, innovation, and survival. They're tangible connections to a time when the world hung in the balance and every resource, including the metals used for coinage, was precious. The market for South African coins from the 1,942 has exploded in recent years. International collectors, particularly those from Asia and the Middle East, have discovered the richness and diversity of South African numismatics. They're competing with traditional collectors from South Africa, Europe, and the Americas, creating a truly global marketplace where demand far exceeds supply for quality material. Auction houses report that South African coins consistently exceed their pre-sale estimates, sometimes by 2 or 3 times the projected value. The 1,942 penny, particularly rare varieties in top condition, sits at the very peak of this hot market. There are documented stories of incredible discoveries that sound too good to be true but are absolutely verified. A man in Pretoria was helping his elderly aunt clean out her late husband's study when he found several old tobacco tins filled with coins. Among them were pennies from the 1,942, including several from 1,942 that had been stored away and never spent. The family assumed they might be worth a few $100 and contacted a local coin dealer for an appraisal. The dealer asked them to bring the coins in immediately. After examination under magnification, he discovered that one of the 1,942 pennies exhibited characteristics of the rare variety that collectors desperately seek. Following professional authentication and grading, that single coin sold for over $55,000. The family had been living for decades, not knowing they had a small fortune hidden in a tobacco tin. These kinds of discoveries happen more frequently than you might imagine, especially with coins from the 1,942. Many people from that generation saved coins as a matter of habit, tucking them away in jars, tins, boxes, and drawers. They might have recognized the coins were old or unusual, or they might have saved them for purely sentimental reasons. Over time, these coins get forgotten, the original owners pass away, and eventually, someone cleaning out an estate stumbles upon them. The people who take the time to have old coins properly evaluated are the ones who sometimes discover they've inherited substantial wealth. Even more common varieties of the 1,942 penny have value if they've been preserved in excellent condition. While a heavily circulated example might bring only a small premium above face value, an uncirculated example with full original red luster can command prices in the hundreds of dollars. A full set of South African pennies from the 1,942 in high grade represents a significant investment, and the 1,942 is often the key date that determines whether someone can complete their set. This creates consistent demand from collectors at various levels, supporting prices across the condition spectrum. Errors and varieties beyond the well-known rarities also carry substantial premiums. Off-center strikes, where the die didn't align properly with the planchette during striking, create dramatic and visually striking errors that collectors love. Doubled dies, where design elements appear doubled due to problems during die production, transform ordinary coins into varieties that specialists pursue. Die cracks, cuds, and other striking anomalies add character and uniqueness. Even among common-date pennies, a dramatic error can be worth thousands of dollars to the right collector. The investment angle cannot be ignored when discussing coins of this caliber. Financial advisors increasingly recognize rare coins as a legitimate asset class, offering portfolio diversification and protection against economic uncertainty. Coins like rare varieties of the 1,942 South African penny have demonstrated consistent appreciation over decades, outperforming many traditional investments. They're tangible assets you can hold, admire, and enjoy while they appreciate in value. Unlike stocks or bonds, they won't disappear in a market crash or corporate bankruptcy. The physical nature of coins provides a psychological comfort that paper assets cannot match. Preservation is crucial once you've identified a potentially valuable coin. The cardinal rule is never clean coins under any circumstances. What looks like dirt or tarnish to an inexperienced person might be original patina that adds value and character. Cleaning coins, even gently, destroys surface features and eliminates value. Always handle coins by their edges only, never touching the faces where fingerprint oils cause permanent damage. Store coins in appropriate holders designed specifically for numismatic storage, away from humidity, temperature extremes, and environmental contaminants. If you believe you have something valuable, minimize handling and seek professional evaluation immediately. The authentication process protects both buyers and sellers in this high-value market. Counterfeit 1,942 pennies do exist, some of them quite sophisticated, created specifically to deceive collectors into paying large sums for worthless fakes. Third-party grading services maintain enormous databases of die characteristics for genuine coins, allowing them to spot counterfeits that might fool even experienced collectors. The encapsulation process seals authenticated coins in tamper-evident holders, providing confidence and facilitating transactions. The modest cost of professional grading is insignificant compared to the protection it provides when dealing with coins worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. The numismatic community surrounding South African coins is passionate, knowledgeable, and incredibly welcoming to newcomers. Online forums, collector clubs, and specialized publications provide resources for learning about these fascinating coins. Major coin shows feature South African specialists who can answer questions and provide valuations. Building relationships within this community can lead to opportunities to buy, sell, and trade coins while learning from experienced collectors who've spent decades studying South African numismatics. The social aspect of collecting adds another dimension of enjoyment beyond the financial considerations. Looking toward the future, the outlook for rare 1,942 pennies remains exceptionally strong. As we move further from World War II and as coins from that era become increasingly historical rather than merely old, their significance grows. Museums and institutional collections actively seek examples of wartime coinage to illustrate life during the conflict. Private collectors building comprehensive South African collections must acquire 1,942 pennies to complete their holdings. The supply of high-quality examples continues shrinking as coins get locked away in collections, while demand keeps growing as new collectors enter the market. This fundamental supply-demand imbalance suggests continued price appreciation for years to come. The broader lesson transcends just the 1,942 penny. Old coins deserve respect and proper evaluation before being dismissed as worthless or spent at face value. What looks ordinary might be extraordinary under magnification or to someone with specialized knowledge. The coins your grandparents saved, the inherited collection sitting in a closet, the random coins in that old jar, they all deserve a closer look. The few minutes it takes to examine coins carefully or have them evaluated professionally could reveal treasures you never imagined. If this video has shocked you, if you're now looking at old coins with new eyes and wondering what might be hiding in your own possession or family belongings, you need to spread this information immediately. Share this video with everyone you know, especially anyone who has old South African coins or inherited items from relatives who lived through the 1,940 seconds. That tobacco tin in the attic, that coin album in the basement, that jar of foreign coins your grandfather collected, any of them might contain that rare 1,942 penny worth a fortune. Smash that like button right now because creating content with this level of detailed research and verified auction data takes tremendous time and expertise. And you absolutely must subscribe to this channel immediately so you never miss another video revealing the hidden fortunes that might be waiting in the coins people handle every day without a second thought. Your discovery could happen tomorrow, and the knowledge you've gained here today might be exactly what you need to recognize it when it appears. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Check those coins, seek professional evaluation, and you might just discover you've been sitting on a gold mine all along. Discovery story to tell.